Recently, Fed Chair Jerome Powell essentially announced that it was unlikely that rates would be cut in March like economists were predicting. Fed rates aren't directly tied to mortgage rates, but they do massively influence them. Since interest rates will not be cut in March, local real estate is slow going and people aren't going to be buying houses because of these higher interest rates, right? Well, not exactly. Hi, I'm Sarah Maslowski with KeyPoint Homes Group, a local real estate agent here in the Northeast Metro Atlanta area. I help clients from all over the country and world relocate right here to Georgia. If you're considering making a move to Georgia, I want to be your real estate agent. I can tell you for a fact that despite the fact that interest rates are not likely to be lowered in the next few months, real estate has not slowed down here in the North Metro. So what are buyers experiencing right now? What do you need to do to be prepared for the spring market? Here in North Georgia, we are experiencing very limited inventory, which means there is very high demand and competition in our market. For example, back in February, I was working with some great clients who were making an offer on a home in Johns Creek. They are very strong buyers. We were going to be paying cash, and the only contingency we put in our offer was a 1-day due diligence period so we could have an inspection for informational purposes only. And we wrote into the contract that we would not ask for any repairs. We just wanted to have an inspection done for our own informational purposes. The house was listed for $790,000 and we offered significantly over list price with that tiny contingency. Unfortunately, we were one of many offers and lost out on the house to someone who offered $60,000 over asking, all cash with zero contingencies. Crazy, right? This doesn't sound like the doom and gloom portrayed on the news, does it? Because there is such limited inventory in the market, good homes are moving fast, especially in highly popular areas like Johns Creek, where they were offering on a home. While these same clients were in town, we were looking at a few available homes on the market in Alpharetta, Johns Creek, and Swanee, and it was the same story everywhere we went. If a house is in good condition, there is insane demand. We toured a vacant home that had just been listed as active, and it was like a revolving door. The house was full of other potential buyers, and we overheard many clients discussing the offer that they were going to make. My buyers didn't make an offer on this home because it still needed quite a lot of bit of work and money put into it to make the house perfect. Still had carpet in the master bathroom. But the bones were good, it had a great location, and it was in a nice neighborhood. I got an email a few days after we showed it from our showing system with a note that said they had received many great offers and had selected one. I think this is really important to remember if you are looking in these popular areas. You are certainly not the only one, and things are still very competitive in these areas. If you are interested in buying a home in these same areas and places like Cumming and Buford, you have to be serious buyers and make competitive offers. You aren't going to get a deal, which is hard news for a lot of buyers. If a home is in good shape and priced appropriately, it is going to move quickly in these areas. You aren't going to be able to go in and ask for closing costs or try to haggle on the price of a newly listed home. There are homes that have been mispriced and sat on the market that you will have better luck on with this. But if you are looking in these prime locations, you have to be a serious buyer to get the job done because of the limited inventory. If you take a look at this graph, the national average for months supply of homes is currently 3. This means that if no new houses were listed on the market, we would be out of houses to buy in 3 months. Now, if we look at this on a local level as opposed to a national level, it's even lower than that. In February, the month supply in the greater Atlanta was 2.6, which is actually up from January where it was 2.3. Because of the severe lack of inventory, we are not going to see prices drop anytime soon. It's all about supply and demand. People still need houses, and since there are so few options, sellers have the power to keep pricing high. Obviously, if you are a buyer, this is not great news. But if you are a seller, you're in a really great position. An article from Calculated Risk shows there are 15.6% more homes for sale now compared to the same week last year. That tells us inventory has grown, but going back to 2019, the last normal year in the housing market, there are nearly 40% fewer homes available now. Are you thinking about selling because your current house is too big, too small, or because your needs have changed? If so, the year-over-year growth gives you more options for your home search. That means it may be less of a challenge to find what you're looking for. But to put that into perspective, even though there are more homes for sale now, there still aren't as many as there'd be in a normal year. Remember, we are down nearly 40% compared to 2019. Yes, there is still limited inventory, but you have more new construction options than ever, and technically more inventory than the past couple of years. If you need a bigger house and currently live in a home you bought back in 2019 or 2020 as a starter home, but your family has grown and you need more space, this is a prime time to sell. Homes in that $300,000 to $400,000 range that you likely bought in the low twos 5 years ago are always in demand. Yes, you are going to pay more now for a bigger house, but you can only stuff yourself into that little starter home for so long, and the huge return on investment from this home will be a great help in buying the new home that will better fit your needs. I think for a lot of people who don't own a home, it feels like something that will never be possible as home values continue to go up and up and up. However, when you invest in real estate, you will see exponential growth on your investment. Your first home may not check all the boxes or be your dream home, but taking the leap to buy that first property will set you up for success in a few years and allow you the opportunity to buy that perfect home after you sell your starter home and collect all the gains from your investment. I worked with a young girl who purchased a 2-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom townhome back in 2019 for $165,000. She spent a little bit of money making some pretty basic improvements on the house and kept things in great shape. Then 2022 came around and she was able to sell this property for $305,000. She walked away making $140,000 on this property in just 3 years. Now, sure, there isn't a guarantee that you will see this steep of a return in such a short amount of time, but I don't know of many other ways people in their early 20s can make $140,000 gain on such a small investment. But investing in real estate has had a massive return for her. You might not be able to afford your dream home right now, but buying real estate will help set you up for that in the future. I know no one wants to hear it, but home prices are not falling anytime soon. So there is no better or more affordable time than now. If interest rates were to finally drop, there would be even more competition for homes because people think that it would be more affordable with a lower interest rate. But all that competition creates higher price increases. So a drop in interest rates does not equate to a cheaper home. I know this might sound like a bunch of, right? But many people still haven't come to terms with the fact that it's not going to get more affordable to buy a home. We aren't going to start moving backwards. There's not going to be this huge influx of homes on the market, which is what we need to cause prices to come down. You have to keep in mind, it was much easier to get a home loan during the lead up to the 2008 housing crisis than it is today. We're not going to see a sudden dump of foreclosures either. Lending restrictions are much more strict and people aren't just taking out loans that they can't afford like they were back in 2007 and 2008. Home prices will continue to rise, and as we get into the spring market, demand will too. So what do you think? Are you ready to make a move to Georgia or anywhere else for that matter? If you're considering a move to Georgia, I want to be your real estate agent. If you're thinking about another state but want a recommendation for a highly qualified agent, let me know and I can put you in touch with one. You can contact me below. There is a link in the pinned comments. If you haven't already checked out this video, make sure you watch this next.